Dear students, welcome to a new episode. In this episode, we will discuss about production planning and control. It includes the description of production process, analysis and demand forecasting for operations. I am Dr. Arshia Hussain, PhD in Human Resource Management and teaching in the Department of Commerce and Business Studies, Jamia Millia Islamia University, New Delhi. So, we will start our discussion with the concept of production planning, but before proceeding further, I would like to introduce my students. Sitting with me, she is Sumaira and he is Faisal, and both of them will actively participate in the discussion. Welcome both of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, we will start with the discussion on the concept of the production planning. The production planning is concerned with formulating plans to determine what will be produced and where, at what time, by whom and how. It is the technique of forecasting every step of production process in terms of series of separate operations, where each step to be taken at the right time and in the right place, and each operation to be performed in maximum efficiency. It helps entrepreneur to determine the quantity of material, manpower, machine and money required for producing predetermined level of output in given time period. Thus, production planning is concerned with planning series of activities involving arranging the facilities and designing the production system. Now, we will see objectives of production planning. The first objective is to allocate manufacturing facilities and machines capacities for the production of various products required for sales and stocking. The second objective is to ensure that materials, components, tools and men are available at a required time and place. The third objective is to plan a smooth flow of work through all machines and workstations so as to ensure their optimum utilization. Fourth one is to determine time schedules of all the operations. Next is to prepare manufacturing. Yes.
I want to ask something.
Yes.
You explained the objectives.
Yes.
So can you tell that how it ensures the maximum utilization?
This is one of the objective of production planning. Maximum utilization can be achieved when we plan for something. So, if we are not planning for something, wastages are there, okay, or inefficiency may crop up. So, planning helps in utilization, maximum utilization of the available resources.
Yes, ma'am.
Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Next is to prepare manufacturing orders authorizing performance of all operations. Next is to create steady employment by leveling the peaks and valleys in production. Now, next we will see is the functions of production planning. Production planning performs the following functions. First one is routing. Routing is the sequence of operations from the point of view of the beginning of the manufacturing of product to the time of its completion in its finished form. Firstly, routing fixes the sequence of operations to be used. Then the equipment and finally the manpower allocated to the task. It may even specify the particular machine and operator responsible for each step in the manufacturing process. Routing defines the planning of where and by whom work shall be done, the determination of the path that work shall be followed, and the necessary sequence of operations to be performed. The main objective of routing is to determine the best route for a particular product. In other words, the purpose of routing is to find out the best and the cheapest sequence of operations to be followed in the manufacturing process. Determination of the best route for a particular item or product requires the following information. First one is a list of operations required to process the order. Second, the possible time requirements for the work. And the third is the availability schedule for various machines and workstations. Then we will see next, that is your scheduling. Scheduling is very important to successful production. It involves fixing priorities for different jobs and laying down the starting and finishing dates for each job. The main aim of scheduling is to ensure a smooth flow of materials through the production process. The manager responsible for scheduling determines when to start work on a given order and by what date it should be completed. Scheduling is thus a system of planning and keeping a track of manpower, equipment and materials use. Its objective is to use these resources most efficiently while completing orders by specific dates. The pattern of scheduling differs from the one job to another, which can be explained as production schedule. The main aim is to schedule that amount of work which can easily be handled by plant and equipment without interference. It is not an independent decision as it takes into account the following factors. First one is physical plant facilities required to process the material being scheduled. Second is personnel who possess the desired skills and experience to operate the equipment and perform the type of work involved. Next is necessary materials and purchased parts. Then master schedule. Scheduling usually starts with the preparation of master schedule. It is a weekly or monthly breakdown of the production requirement for each product for a specific time period. This serves as a running record of total production requirements. This helps the entrepreneur to shift the production from one product to another as per the changed production requirements. This forms a base for all subsequent scheduling activities. A master schedule is followed by operator schedule, which fixes total time required to do a piece of work with a given machine or which shows the time required to do each detailed operation of a given job with a given machine or process. The Gantt chart type of master schedule is very popular as it facilitates both planning and follow-up of the progress of work. A sample master schedule is given as Next is manufacturing schedule. It is prepared on the basis of type of manufacturing process involved. It is very useful where single or few products are manufactured repeatedly at regular intervals. Manufacturing schedule authorizes the plant to manufacture specified products in specified quantities and deliver them at a specified time period. Next is scheduling factors. The most important factor to be considered in preparing schedules is the type of manufacturing. Scheduling is very significant in job order manufacturing. This will enable the speedy execution of job at each center point. Next is orders. The factory gets authority for manufacturing from the production order. This order may be based on the production program or on a customer order. When the customer places production order, it results into the master bill of materials containing the list of component parts. Job ticket is a type of production order which authorizes the performance of individual operations. When these job tickets are filled out on the completion of authorized operations, they serve as valuable control tools. It occupies an important place in the reporting and follow-up steps in the production control system. Process order tells the factory how to make the products. Product engineers decide how to make various products and their various component parts. Next we will see is routing and scheduling together. Routing and scheduling are integrated activities. Routing an item efficiently through a plant is not possible without having access to previously designed schedules, and scheduling is impossible without the knowledge of required routing. Routing establishes how production will occur inside the plant. Scheduling determines the time when each part of the process should begin. Scheduling works backward from date of delivery to determine when production must begin. Routing and scheduling activities affect and are affected by each other. They are thus interrelated. Scheduling is usually done with timetables. The overall time schedule is called the master schedule. Master schedule indicates the total number of products to be produced per week or per month. The master schedule can be broken down into weekly operations schedule. The planning department can also prepare the daily operation schedule. If you have any doubt, you can ask me.
Yes, Mama, I wanted to ask that as you said that routing and scheduling are both integrated.
Yes.
So what is the common factor between the two of them that actually integrates both of them?
See, routing and scheduling, it goes together. First, you decide the route, the path, the sequence of the operations, from where to start and which are the activities that will follow the previous activity. It's basically the number of the operations, the number of the activities or the sequence of operations to be followed in any particular operation or manufacturing process.
Okay.
Scheduling is when it will be started. This starts after routing. Okay, when a particular activity will be started, like there are 2-3 activities. So, what is the time of starting for activity 1, then at what time your activity 1 will complete, yes, then the second activity when it will begin, when it will finish. So, thus routing starts first and then scheduling. So, it follows each other and this is how it is integrated.
Okay, ma'am, as you have mentioned, scheduling follows the routing. You have
Yes.
also mentioned some of the activities in scheduling. So, ma'am, can we know what are the activities in routing? Can you
Yes.
name a few?
Yes, in routing, because you are deciding what kind of sequence of operations are to be followed. For this, the activities or the activities that are decided under routing is what to make, the decision of how to carry on, okay, where to make the product, how to make the product. So, these are the various activities under routing. It is just like routing comes under your planning. So, planning is you decide for everything, what to plan, where to plan, when to plan, okay, where it is to be produced. So, everything comes under your routing and thus it becomes the activities of the routing. Is this clear to you?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. So, now we will continue. Next, we will start with the scheduling factors. The most important factor to be considered in preparing schedules is the type of manufacturing, as the nature of scheduling varies with the type of production sequence used. In case of batch production, scheduling is a complex activity. For batch production, the focus is on the individual order. Efforts are made to make the best use of production resources so that the delivery date for each order is met. In case of continuous production, scheduling deals with flow control. In continuous production, the product's rate of movement or flow is controlled as the product moves through the production stages. The emphasis here is not upon the individual orders. Instead, the number of standardized products produced in a given time period is stressed. Continuous production scheduling is usually less complex than batch production scheduling. Next we will see is scheduling techniques. Do you have a question?
Yes. Ma'am, in continuous production, how
Yes.
scheduling helps? As you told that it is a complex process.
Yes.
So how it simplifies the process of production?
Continuous production means it's a all the year round, okay, and usually the mass production is a continuous production. Okay, so scheduling is when we are to start a particular batch. Okay, batch production is a part of a continuous production. So when a particular batch, the production of a particular batch will begin, and when it will be completed, the production will be completed. Okay, secondly, the next batch, when it will start, okay, when it will complete. So scheduling is the required amount of production to be produced within a given period of time, and the starting time of the production plus the completion time of the production. Okay, so it requires the fixation of the, it is not just one concept, rather it requires, you know, the fixation of the responsibility for every employee. So thus scheduling works with entire different concepts of management.
Okay, ma'am.
Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay. Next is scheduling techniques. Schedules can be developed in a number of ways. The various scheduling techniques may be grouped into two major categories: charts and graphs, and operations research methods. There are many kinds of charts and graphs that are available for scheduling. Some of the more commonly used ones are, first one is Gantt chart. One of the best known charts is the Gantt chart. Gantt chart was introduced by Henry Fayol as a production planning and control technique. It is a graphic device which shows planned schedule of operations and progress against the schedules. It gives information on the plans for the future, progress on present operations, and a record of past performances for future references. Even your Gantt chart is also a technique of scheduling. You use various charts, out of which Gantt chart is popularly used by organizations, where they decide and where it is shown, you know, the entire format, the entire structure, and the entire path of the production schedule. Okay. It is also used to monitor jobs in progress. Gantt chart visually indicates a status of operations against schedules and helps in spotting trouble spots or deviations needing corrective actions. It is most useful in situations where there are a few tasks to be performed and tasks times are relatively long and the job routines are fairly simple. Its disadvantage is that it involves extra work. Charts do not replace any of the other planning and control records. Furthermore, unless these charts are posted very promptly, they become out of date. These charts do not serve any useful purpose during slack period. They serve useful during rush period, provided that they are maintained up to date. Second is man-machine chart. It indicates graphically actual and potential performance of the operator in relation to his machine. It also points out the idle time of both the machine and the man. Next is load chart. This chart shows the load on each machine and informs when the machine is overloaded or underloaded for a certain period of time, generally a week. Next is bar chart. It is used to show the progress of work. It shows the relationship between the actual performance and the planned and expected performance. Then operation research techniques. These techniques, yes.
What is the significance of preparing these charts?
These charts shows us the point of deviations.
Okay.
These shows us the various variations. Okay, and the production manager, the members of the organization can find out where the deviations are. Okay, it can be shown either by way of bar charts or by Gantt charts. Okay, and you will come to know regarding most of your performances, and the deviations and corrective actions can be taken accordingly.
Yes, ma'am.
Clear? Okay. Next is operations research techniques. Now these techniques involve mathematical formulas and analysis. Two such scheduling techniques are, first is critical path analysis. This technique breaks the work down into its component parts. These parts or activities are then related to each other in a diagram or network. By using this technique, the scheduler can determine the total time needed to complete the job and the activities where delays may arise. Next is linear programming. This technique seeks an optimum or best answer to a problem. It can only be used if the relationships among variables are linear. There are several ways of performing linear programming. These include the graphic, transportation and simplex methods. Now, after production planning, we see production control. Production control involves the implementation of production plans or schedules by coordinating different activities. It seeks to ensure that production operations and actual performance occur according to planned operations and performance. According to Henry Fayol, production control is the art and science of ensuring that all which occurs is in accordance with the rules established and the instructions issued. Thus, production control regulates the orderly flow of materials in the manufacturing process from the raw materials stage to the finished product. Production control aims at achieving production targets, optimum use of available resources, increased profits through productivity, better and more economic goods and services, and so on. An effective production control system requires reliable information, sound organization structure, a high degree of standardization, and trained personnel for its successful operation. Next, we will see is functions of production control. The following are the functions of production control. First one is dispatching, second follow-up, and third is corrective action. Now, we will start with the dispatching function. Yes.
Does an organization needs to fulfill all the functions of production?
Usually, yes. All the functions of the production planning and control needs to be completed for any kind of production. Okay. For example, in the production control, your three functions are there, and out of these three functions, if you are following only first function, up till first function, that is dispatching. That means you have dispatched your entire product material, the output, and the rest of the two you are not following it. And the rest of the two, the next two is follow up and taking corrective action. So, follow up is necessary because it improves the productivity, it improves the efficiency, okay. And correctiveness, obviously, taking corrective action after following up is more essential because it will tell you where you are lacking behind, where the deviations are found. So, usually all the functions should be followed.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
So, we will start with the first function, that is dispatching. Dispatching is an important step as it translates production plans into production. Routing and schedulings are preparatory steps. Actual production begins when permission is granted to commence operations according to the plans already laid down. Dispatching involves issue of production orders for starting the operations. Necessary authority and confirmation is given for number one, movement of materials to different workstations. Second one, movement of tools and fixtures necessary for each operations. Third one, beginning of work on each operation. Fourth, recording of time and cost involved in each operation. Fifth, movement of work from one operation to another in accordance with the route sheet. Next, inspecting or supervision of work. Now, we will see important documents used in dispatching. The following important forms are used in the function of dispatching. First is material requisition. Second, job cards. Third, time tickets. Fourth, inspection cards. Fifth, tool and gauge tickets. Next function is follow-up. Follow-up is the last step in the process of production planning and control. Do you have any doubt?
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, you have mentioned material requisition.
Yes.
So, I want to know what is material requisition.
Requisition is request and material requisition is request for materials. So, there are various steps under your dispatching, and for dispatching that means it is a note. It is a material requisition note that you require certain materials before certain period of time. okay, or for certain production. So, material requisition is request for materials.
Materials.
Clear?
Sure.
Okay. Next is follow-up. Follow-up is the last step in the process of production planning and control. Follow-up is concerned with ensuring that adequate materials, tools, etc. are available to manufacturing departments well in time. It is basically a watchdog function to ensure that production is completed on scheduled time and that it is not held up for any reason, and if it is held up for some reason, then the corrective measures can be taken. According to Lundy, it is a troubleshooting type of activity which owes its existence to the fact that actual progress often fails to match corresponding plans. It includes investigation of the causes of delays in the production process as a whole, assisting in their removal and preventing their recurrence. It indicates delays or deviations from the production plans. It helps to reveal defects in routing and scheduling, misunderstanding of orders and instructions, underloading or overloading of work, and so on. All problems or deviations are investigated and remedial measures are undertaken to ensure the completion of work by the planned date. Next is corrective measures. Deviation of actual performance from planned schedules is a usual phenomena. Corrective action may involve any of those activities of adjusting the route, rescheduling of work, changing the workloads, repairs and maintenance of machinery or equipment, control over the inventories. Of the cause of deviations is the poor performance of the employees. Certain personal decisions like training, transfer, demotions and so on may have to be taken. Alternate methods may be suggested to handle peak loads. Now we will see together production planning and control. Firstly, we saw what is production planning, then we have discussed what is production control, and now what is production planning and control, usually known as PPC.
PPC.
Okay. Production planning and control is a central element in manufacturing management. It involves the decision of what, when, where and how much will be produced. According to Sprague and Landsberg, production planning and control is the process of planning production in advance of operations, establishing the exact route of each individual item or assembly, setting starting and finishing dates for each important item, part or assembly and the finished products, and releasing the necessary orders as well as initiating the required follow-up to effectuate the smooth functioning of the enterprise. Production planning and production control are interrelated and interdependent. Planning and control supplement one another. For a plan without control is worth little, and controls cannot be enforced if there are no plans. Production planning is concerned with the determination of every step in advance in a long series of production operations so as to carry out the production activities smoothly. Production control, which comes after production planning, is a process of directing, guiding and regulating the production activities so as to have best quality production at the lowest cost. Production planning and production control pace and supervise the flow of work through a plan so that work progresses in a systematic fashion from department to department without delay and with minimum interruptions. Thus, through the actions of the production planning and control, an organization can translate a customer's order into a manufactured product. Production plan in itself cannot achieve goals of the organization. It needs to be executed effectively, which is possible through production control. In other words, production planning without production control will be of no use, and production control without proper production planning will be meaningless and ineffective. Therefore, it is essential to establish proper coordination between production planning and production control. Now, we will see objectives of production planning and control. The main objective of production planning to ensure that the product is produced in the best and the cheapest method. However, the objective of production planning and control is, first one, to facilitate smooth and continuous production by eliminating all sorts of bottlenecks in the production process through well planned routing and scheduling requirements. Second one is to ensure the availability of all the inputs, that is materials, machines, tools, equipments and manpower in the required quantity and quality and at the required time to achieve its desired targets of productions. Next is to ensure that production activities are planned and carried out in a manufacturing organization as per the master schedule. Next objective is to ensure minimum investment in inventories. The other objective is to ensure increase in productivity by increasing efficiency and by being economical. This is achieved by optimizing the use of productive resources and eliminating wastage and spoilage. Next is to achieve customer satisfaction by producing the products according to their specifications or needs. Next is to maintain delivery schedule by ensuring that jobs are completed in time. Another objective is to keep a constant check on operations by judging the performance of various individuals and workshops and taking suitable corrective measures if there is any deviation between planned and actual operations. Now we will see advantages of production planning and control. The first advantage is production planning and control helps in providing better services to customers. It provides better quality products at reasonable prices. Better quality and delivery of the products in time help in winning the confidence of customers and thereby improving relations with the customers. The next advantage is the effective system of production planning and control ensures smooth production operations. As a result, there will be fewer rush orders. Next advantage, an efficient system of production planning and control helps to maintain proper inventory levels and thereby minimizing investment in inventory. Next is an efficient system of production planning and control makes the optimum utilization of equipment. Another advantage, production planning and control helps in reducing idle time, that is loss of time by workers waiting for materials and other facilities.
Ma'am, you
Yes.
listed an advantage that an organization can maintain its inventory level.
Yes.
So how it helps to maintain
How production planning and
Yes,
control?
ma'am.
See, production planning and control, the levels of inventory. The levels of inventory is the maximum level, the minimum level and the reorder level. Okay. So, what should be the maximum level of inventory to be kept in the stores at a particular point of time? That is decided or that is planned under production planning and control. And what should be the minimum level of inventory, that is decided by the or that is decided under the production planning and control. So, the various levels of inventory is the various stages, the minimum level, the maximum, the reorder level, at what level the inventories should be reordered. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, that is all decided under the production planning, and since it is all decided, obviously then it leads to smooth operations of the production. Okay. There is no delays in the production. Clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, ma'am, in nutshell, can we say production planning and control ensures the optimum utilization of resources?
Yes, because planning in itself, planning and control, be it for the production or be it in the production or be it in any other areas of organization, planning and control ensures maximum utilization or optimum utilization of the resources, and due to which your efficiency is achieved. Is this clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure.
Okay. Now we'll continue. An effective system of production planning and control coordinates the activities of all the departments involved in the production activity. An efficient system of production planning and control helps in maintaining systematized operations in an organization. An organization is in a position to meet its order in time to the satisfaction of its customers, leading to increased sales, increased profits, industrial harmony and good public image of the enterprise. Now we'll see what are the limitations of production planning and control. The first limitation is production planning and control is based on certain assumptions regarding the availability of inputs like materials, power, equipment, and customers' orders. The system of production planning and control will become ineffective in case of these assumptions and forecasts do not go right. Next limitation is it creates rigidity in the working of plant. Next is production planning is a time consuming process. Next limitation, the system of production planning and control is a costly affair. It is affected by external factors such as sudden breakout of war, government control, natural calamities, change in fashion, change in technology, and so on. But despite of these limitations, the system of production planning and control is undoubtedly a must for efficient production management system. So that is all for today. Hope you have understood the concept.
Yes, ma'am.
Sure.
So we will meet in the next episode with a new topic on management. Till then, take care. Goodbye.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
ma'am.
Thanks
ma'am.
for attending the lecture.